Welcome back. You're watching the results of the India Today Group Cicero post-poll survey. I want to focus now on the South Indian states, starting with Andhra Pradesh, which has seen the state being bifurcated. The Election Commission, however, still looks at it as one state. And we're now combining the vote share of the Congress in both Telangana and Simandra and putting these numbers out. The Congress, which had picked up a whopping 55% of the vote share last time, now expected to crash to 16%. That's a loss of almost 40% of the votes of Andhra Pradesh. One of the biggest falls you're probably ever going to see. After the Congress, let's now come to the BJP, which is in an alliance with the Telugu Desam. The BJP and the TDP together had 29% of the vote share. This time they had 32% according to the India Today Group post-poll projection. 3% gain from last time. Remember, it's not a very significant gain. How will it shape into seats? You'll find out in just a moment from now. Let's focus on K. Chandrasekhar Rao and the TRS, which had 6% of the vote share last time. This time expected to pick up 19% of the vote share. That's a gain of 13% for K. Chandrasekhar Rao and the TRS. After that, let's now come to the YSRCP. Jagan Reddy's party, formed after the death of his father. They didn't exist in 2009. That's when his father led the Congress to 33 seats in Andhra Pradesh. This time, they're projected to pick up 22% of the vote share. The others, 11% last time, 11% this time. How does this convert into seats in the crucial battleground states of Andhra Pradesh? Here it is. From 32, the Congress likely to crash to between 1 and 3. You can't have a mightier fall in politics than that. The BJP and the TDP alliance expected to jump up from 6 to between 15 and 19. Remember, their vote share didn't go up significantly, but that's also because they haven't done well in Telangana. They are picking up more vote share in Simandra, and that is what is converting into seats for the BJP-TDP alliance. You've got the TRS, which had 2 seats last time, now in Telangana especially doing really well, getting between 10 and 14. Jagan Reddy's party had 2 seats last time, which came through in the by-elections that were held after the Lok Sabha elections. That now likely to be between 8 and 12. And you've got others between 0 and 2. Dr. Lairi, I want your initial sense of the numbers for Andhra Pradesh.
See, Rahul, Andhra has been a Congress bastion. Congress never got less than 38% of the votes. If you recall, you must have been a child at that time, 1977, when every state deserted Indira Gandhi, Andhra stood by Indira Gandhi. But after the bifurcation of Telangana, bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh, which is yet to take place, but de facto it has happened, Congress has lost popularity in Simandra, and Congress has not got the credit in Telangana. So it has been hit worst by in both the states. However, you must take notice of the fact we have been discussing the Andhra municipal results. The municipal results are somewhat different. However, we have noticed time and again that the issues in state and local elections are different from the issues in national elections. Yeah. So we have to live and die with the numbers, whatever the numbers are. No, but I've
got T.S. Sudhir, Headlines Today's editor South, joining us at this time. We've also got Chandan Mitra, who's fought a tough election in Bengal, joining us. We've got Satpal Jain. I want to go across to Sudhir first. Sudhir, what this poll shows is that the BJP, along with Chandrababu Naidu, will be the biggest player in Andhra politics, which essentially means that Jagan Reddy's claims of emerging as the king of Simandra don't seem to be coming through, especially for the Lok Sabha elections. Chandrababu Naidu is striking jackpot.
Absolutely. In fact, as we discussed in the last opinion poll, it was like a rabbit out of his hat that Naidu pulled out as far as the Modi factor was concerned, given the fact that that gave him an extra edge as far as the Simandra region was concerned. For the voters in Seemandra, and that's what I found out when I was traveling and talking to people, they had only one villain to look at, and that was the Congress, which is probably the reason why the Congress has been completely wiped out in the Seemandra region. The BJP, even though it provided support to the Telangana bill in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, wasn't really seen as a villain of the piece. And together with TDP, Modi was able to actually put together a development plan, a development agenda for the Seemandra region. And that seems to have clicked as far as the voters of Seemandra are concerned. But yes, again, there could be an urban-rural divide, because the urban areas really were in favor of a Naidu-Modi combined, looking at what the future of Seemandra state, the residuary state of Andhra Pradesh, could be like. But the rural areas still indicating a strong support for Jagannath Reddy's YSR Congress.
Okay, stay with us. I want to go across to Chandan Mitra. We don't have the final numbers for West Bengal just yet, because there was a exit poll there as well. But the national projection seems to indicate the BJP could touch the magical figure of 272 as part of the NDA. That's good news for you, or are you going to start by saying that no, we'll actually end up with about 300?
Well, I think you have taken words out of my mouth. As usual, I shall begin by saying that exit polls are exit polls and must be taken with some degree of caution. Although this time the exit polls are in our favor, I will still not say that I am rejoicing or jumping up and down with joy, because exit polls have to be ultimately tested on the crucible of the actual results, which are just going to come in 4 days' time. But I think it was very apparent, Rahul, from the entire way things moved, and you have travelled the length and breadth of this country, and I'm sure, although I don't expect you to say it in the program, but I think I'm sure that you sensed Modi wave gathering steam as you moved along, and I experienced it even in Bengal, where the BJP was never a strong political factor. So I am not surprised at all with the figure that NDA is going to get a majority, a clear majority of its own, won't need other parties to join. I think in fact the numbers will probably be higher than what you have shown. I will at least hope for that. But in any case, if the NDA on its own is in a position to form a government, I think that's great news for this country.
Will you still try and bring allies on board even if you cross 272, or do you think that won't be required? What do you think, as a strategist, is the best option for the BJP? Bring on board more allies, or stay with what you have?
You know, Mr. Narendra Modi recently said that in the task of running the country, he would like to take everybody along, even some party with one MP. So that, I think, shows his approach to the whole issue. We'd like to have more people on board. We would keep doors open if others want to join, and the NDA accept our broad policy formulation and a kind of governance plank. I think they are welcome. But we won't have to wait for them to join. The NDA will go ahead and form the government, and let's see who comes along. I think it will be very good if more regional parties come along. That will give further stability to the government.
Sudhir, is this the beginning of the end of the Congress in Andhra Pradesh as we know it? Because we've seen in states like West Bengal, in states like Tamil Nadu, once the Congress has been turfed out of power, it never really was able to inch its way back. Will Andhra Pradesh, will Telangana and Seemandra be the same, or do you think that the Congress can make a comeback even if they crash in the way that they do with their vote share coming down from 55 to 16? That's a loss of 39 points. Can they recover from such a big fall?
Well, they will have to contend with two very, very strong regional parties, the TDP and the YSR Congress in the Seemandra region. And it will be very difficult for it to actually come back immediately in the absence of a strong leader. They really do not have any strong, charismatic leader except perhaps Chiranjeevi to project in the short term and the long term. So it looks like it will go the Tamil Nadu and the West Bengal way, at least in the short term definitely, except unless many of its leaders who actually went over to the TDP and the YSR Congress in the run-up to the elections actually come back and work to strengthen the party, the Congress party in the Seemandra region. But given the fact that there has been a lot of anger against the party for doing what it did in terms of bifurcation of Andhra Pradesh, it looks like it will have to sit out in the opposition, not just in 2014, but perhaps even 2019.
Okay, from Andhra Pradesh, I want to move to Tamil Nadu, because in Tamil Nadu, there was a lot of talk of how Jayalalitha might come on board and ally with Narendra Modi. That never happened. The BJP formed its own alliance, bringing in the PMK, the MDMK, the DMDK, along with the BJP, an unholy alliance, alliance full of contradictions. How is that working out? Let's start with the Congress's vote share. By itself, the Congress had 5% of the vote share. This time they're increasing it by 2% to 7%, but that's also because the Congress last time was in an alliance with the DMK. This time they fought more seats and they fought independently. That's why the individual vote share has gone up. The BJP, and this is fairly substantial, is seeing its vote share go up from 9 to 17. Now this is not just the BJP by itself. This includes the DMDK, this includes the MDMK, this includes the PMK and the BJP. So that's 9 to 17, a gain of 8%. How does this impact the others? Let's take a look at Jayalalitha. 42% of the vote share is what she had in 2009. That now coming down to 37. That's a loss of 5% vote share for Jayalalitha, and in my view it's a big opportunity lost, because after you've seen the DMK figures, which had 38% last time, now losing out, coming down to about 27, a loss of 11. If the BJP had been in an alliance with Jayalalitha, they would have swept this election. They didn't form an alliance, and that is costing Jayalalitha, because she was fairly certain. Let's now have the seat share figures for Tamil Nadu brought up, please. 38 to 27, a loss of 11 for the DMK alliance in Tamil Nadu. That's the vote share. This is for the others from 7 to 13, a gain of 6% vote share for the others. But let's just dive straight into the numbers, please. The seat share for the Congress, which was 8 last time, crashing to 0 this time, which means Karti Chidambaram, Mani Shankar Ayya, all of them, possibly, if Dr. Lahiri and Dhananjay's figures are right, could lose their seats from 8 to 0. In fact, their vote share is so low that the chance of winning is possibly very, very limited. Very limited. We're being very careful. The BJP alliance from 1 to about 2 to 4, which essentially means that while their vote share jumped up from 8 to 17, their seat share is just between 2 and 4. So that alliance not really converting into seats, but what that's doing is that Jayalalitha, and if assembly election performance had been replicated, they would have ended up with about 35 seats. That's now coming to between 20 and 24. So Jayalalitha has been contained. She is no longer the empress of Tamil Nadu as she could have been. Her performance expected to be between 20 and 24. You've got the DMK getting between 10 and 14, and the others between 1 and 3. Dr. Lahiri, I want your sense of the numbers for Tamil Nadu.
See, Congress and BJP, or let me say UP and NDA, must have felt very lonely going into the polls in Tamil Nadu without either of the two major Dravidian parties in alliance with them. Whenever they have fought elections without an alliance with these two, either of these two, they have done very badly. So this was to be expected. But out of these two, BJP did better by allying with DMDK, MDMK and PMK. That, mind you, they're small players compared to DMK and ADMK, but still they're players
on their own seats, on the seats of Vaiko, on the seats of Ambumani Ramdas.
The question that was raised earlier is whether these votes are transferable. The 1 year votes, will they be really transferable to the upper castes and so on. It seems that the BJP hasn't done as badly as the Congress.
But there hasn't been perfect transfer of votes.
There hasn't been perfect transfer of votes. Votes, you know, it's like marriage of unlikely people. It's not a very happy situation.
No, it may not be a happy situation, Shiv Vishwanathan, but this is possibly the best the BJP could have done given the circumstance that they managed to contain Jayalalitha. Their alliance could end up between 2 and 4. Otherwise, they would have probably got 0 over there.
Rosy picture as far as numbers go, but anyone who varies Vaiko and kind is in for trouble. I think anyone who understands politics says politics goes beyond these numbers. Right now, they've contained Jayalalitha. They've got a few points. BJP looks like an assorted biscuit of parties.
That's a very important point. You've got Vaiko, you've got Ambumani Ramdas and Vijaykanth on the same table. Chandan Mitra, they hate each other. They can't stand each other. On the ground, they fight each other. Their politics is contradictory. How does Modi deal with all these people who don't get along? And what this poll shows is that there hasn't even been a perfect transfer of votes.
Well, BJP has a certain capacity to, get very, very diverse people who are kind of enemies when they confront each other. When they come under the BJP's umbrella, they somehow fall in place, and we have seen that before in Atalji's time when he ran a coalition of 24 parties. Now, I know that there are difficulties in running this kind of parties with contradictions, but nevertheless, you see that according to your projections, we are not getting, even this alliance is not getting too many seats. So I don't think.
No, so let me ask you a straight question. Is there a possibility of an alliance with Jayalalitha still? Now, because Jayalalitha sent BJP a message, BJP in turn sent Jayalalitha a message, you've contained her between 20 and 24. Now that she's been contained, would Modi still reach out to her?
I'm sure there will be some reaching out, because we would like to have a party like the Anna DMK with us, because I think on a large number of ideological and philosophical issues, there is a meeting of minds. And although relations during the Atal Bihari Vajpayee period were a bit stormy, I think it would be, Jayalalitha would be someone who could be considered a natural ally of the BJP.
Sudhir, do you see that happen? Krishna Anand wants to come in, he understands South Indian politics really well. Krishna, your sense?
Rahul, I mean, let me first set the record straight. Vaiko and Ramdas were part of the NDA from the 1996. Now that's number one. No prizes for guessing that the Congress is going to lose all the seats in Tamil Nadu. In fact, I wonder if they get even that 6.9%. They have not really shown any indication. But the figures actually baffle me on another count. There is the BJP plus that's going to get 2 plus 4, and there are the others actually whom the figures say are going to get 1 to 3.
The left, I guess.
I mean, the left is actually contesting only 2 seats, and they know for sure that they're going to lose it. So, the takeaway from Tamil Nadu is the DMK that actually appeared to have completely been broken down and completely out of the picture seems to be reviving, and that's thanks to Stalin being anointed.
Not just that, that's also because of the Muslim vote, which they've picked up. 43% of the Muslim vote is what the DMK has picked up. The AIDMK managed only 23% of the Muslim vote.
In fact, if the DMK is reviving, the first possibility of the DMK reviving in Tamil Nadu will be the northern districts, which is where the PMK and Vijayakant's, if there is a party called Vijayakant's party, in fact, he's lost all his MLAs that he lost in won in the last election. Now, the point is, the DMK is actually shown in an increase in votes in the northern districts. And that is where I think you are also giving votes for the BJP. So I think, the figures are completely baffling.
I have a couple of really quick points. I mean, the first is that this is a real win for the NDA one way or the other. Because if you look at the, if you look at AIDMK's vote share, 37% in a 4-cornered race, they could well end up getting more seats than what you're projecting here. But either way, if you step back and look at the national picture, these are the most likely allies for the BJP. So to have the AIDMK emerge as the dominant party, no one really thought Congress or BJP was going to do that well in Tamil Nadu. The game here was, how well will the AIDMK do? How will that affect the stability of the next government?
No, but I have a counter theory. They didn't want Jayalalitha to win 35, 37 seats because then she would have been difficult to deal with. A Jayalalitha with 20 to 24 seats is much easier for Modi to deal with than between 33 and 37 seats.
It may be the sweet spot.
Yeah. Modi spent a lot of time going after Chennai.
That's true. Yeah. Modi spent a lot of time trying to woo Jayalalitha, and she wouldn't pay any attention.
But that may be the sweet spot, right? You don't want her to have so much that she's sort of she's the problem. You don't want her to have so few that she can't provide this extra ballast. So this may be the sweet spot for them.
Maybe they'd be very worried to have her again. Let's remember what she did before.
Between 20 and 24, it's disposable. You can take her out and bring someone else into the equation.
What is interesting is that she had prime ministerial ambitions more than any of the other lady chief ministers. So in that sense, it is a loss for her.
Oh, absolutely. Let's now quickly put out the figures for Karnataka, please,
Rahul,
on our screen right now. Yes, Karnataka.
Let me just answer that question on Tamil Nadu. See, the range is 0 to 2. Okay. So the mean is 1. I am not in a position to answer which constituency they're fighting, where they're considered to be strong. They're getting 11% of the votes.
I'm not looking at the constituency. I'm just wondering which are these others outside of these three. I mean, people talk about.
I will answer that question when my colleague Dhananjay, who is doing the opinion poll on behalf of Cicero.
Because as far as I know, there are no other political parties.
I think,
in Tamil Nadu.
Rahul, it also
need to invent parties.
bears stating again that a family rift, such as in the DMK, can cause devastation for many elections. And of course, Alagiri is not able to stab them fatally.
No, but they've been able to hold back. Unlike what happened in the assembly election when they actually came down to below the DMDK. But this time they've been able to do reasonably well.
Right, but the family rift has done them no good.
Oh, absolutely.